firstly say I find it very strange that the clerk tonight is saying she doesn't know about dispensations. So I would like an email in return. And I've just looked up on my phone, and the email actually came from the deputy clerk of this town council, obviously with the town council's permission. And it very clearly says that the interest should be made, and that Councillor Clark was going to actually amend his declaration of interest on council website. So strange. Sadly, we haven't got the police here tonight, because we could have asked them some questions, but they are going to actually give us some answers. Unlike this town council immediately, because we've got to wait for 20 days under the Freedom of Information Act to get valid answers to the questions we've got. So going on to the skate park. For those councillors and their relatives at the People's meeting, who I heard saying, it was years ago. Yes, it was. But the lies are still being peddled, and while they are, I will continue to correct the information so that Portishead is not misled. We heard from Lisa Stanley at the last council meeting about the lies that were told by councillors on the skate park issue. Evidenced lies. Councillor Rees was directly involved in vetoing the skate park at Kilkenny Fields, and even said he wasn't going to change his mind no matter how much anyone argued. Yet when he was asked a direct question by a resident by why he obstructed Kilkenny, Mr Rees now says in writing, "Not in my portfolio." The North Somerset Council's deputy leader's actions are not befitting an elected officer. Yes, councillors, Mr Oyns, can give their personal opinion, but when it comes to planning, they should represent the electorate and the majority. This did not happen. Nobody is stopping David Oyns looking for another site, although 1 year on from his election we're no further forward, and we're having to ensure his misinformation on sites such as Bristol Road are not peddled inappropriately. It took a Freedom of Information request to get the truth out of this matter, and to see month after month no progress on the clerk's report is a shameful state of affairs. Secondly, the Nature Reserve. Nobody seems to want to mention the one director who was involved in PMML for 5 years before Councillors Ashton and Terry, as well as 3 years afterwards as a co-directors. His name was Cllr Haley of Persimmon, big developer. So why is this man not being held to account for the alleged financial problems within PMML? And why did none of the current directors oust him from their board? Could it be that the name of Persimmon as a major developer in the area and the large sums of Section 106 funds that come from developers had an influence? So what will happen to the levy funds held in PMML's reserve account? Well, according to Councillor Arthur Terry, they cannot be transferred to a third party, as evidenced in council minutes, without the levy payers' consent. So I hope the levy payers look forward to getting consulted on the matter. Nigel Ashton's retrospective resignation from the PMML board, backdated to the 6th of May 2015, despite Companies House listing him as a current director earlier this year, seems to have been under Councillor Terry's nose, because he said that Nigel Ashton was one of 3 directors on the 13th of May 2015. Now, it seems that Nigel Ashton is now reappointed, along with Steve Roche, as has already been mentioned. Now, strangely, Steve Roche is the same man who was firstly PMML secretary and then a director of PML from 2006 to 2007. This is the most disgraceful saga. And also for Councillor Terry to say in a public meeting that he doesn't know how PMML will obtain consent from the levy payers, I think is terrible. You're either a director of a private company involved in it, or you're not. And if you're a director, I'm afraid you need to answer those questions. And then finally, a bench on the pathway, public right-of-way that goes from the Royal Hotel down to the lifeboat station. There's a bench on that pathway, and Persimmon hasn't got the best reputation in this town, but Crest Nicholson has got a better reputation, because Crest Nicholson confirmed at a meeting on that path that they would fund the bench, fund the installation, no cost to North Somerset Council whatsoever, and the only person that's stopping that bench going into place is North Somerset Council. John Flanagan, to name the officer. I could name all the other ones. This is terrible in a time of austerity that we've got a developer with the funds to fund that bench to be reinstated, and it's being obstructed by North Somerset Council. Now, can I just round up? They have given some reasons, and those reasons are going to be responded to. I spoke to North Somerset Council today and spoke to Crest. But I would like to say, for public record, that if North Somerset Council is concerned about that pathway being passed to them with the bench, because they don't want to maintain that bench, then I will personally pledge my own money to maintain a bench purely for people's benefit, so they don't have to worry about it whatsoever. Now, North Somerset Council told me today that that wouldn't be necessary. But if it is, I will do it, because it's unbelievable that that bench is not there. And luckily, one of your own town councillors had to use my own seat on that pathway on Sunday evening, because after reaching the first flight of steps, he fell ill. A handy bench on that incline would have actually given him somewhere to rest before he continued up the pathway. If it wasn't for a campaigner's chair, I'm not sure what would have happened to that councillor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs.